welcome to our new live stream Q&A series, Inside the Guide's Mind. I'm Mike Blake at MB Guiding, your Vancouver Island hiking guide. Let's see who we got here. All right, we got Lara upstairs. Awesome. Good. Looks like about 70 are chiming in right now. So we are streaming to you live on YouTube and Facebook Live from the Saanich Peninsula on southern Vancouver Island in beautiful British Columbia. So say hello in the chat and the comments. Let us know where you're tuning in from, and we'll get started right away. Okay, tonight we're going beyond the trip report and diving into the mindset behind great guiding. So do you have any questions about planning adventure, mapping your route, predicting the weather, choosing equipment, creating a menu, or maybe you're just curious about our upcoming 2026 guided trips? During this live stream Q&A, you can ask me questions and I'll share my insights on professional tips and tools to help you plan better adventures. Plus, you'll want to stick around for the prize giveaway. We always do a prize giveaway on our live streams, so you got to stick around to the end. We want you to participate too, so ask lots of questions in the chat and comments. And participation in the Q&A is going to be a part of entering the prize giveaway. Let's see who we got here. All right, well, we got still a few of you there. Say hello in the comments if you're joining us on Facebook. Say hello in the Facebook comments if you're on YouTube. Say hello in the YouTube chat. Hey, Paul from Chilliwack, welcome back. Awesome. We got Paul from Chilliwack, a returner. Paul might have the reward for the most live stream attendance. So thanks, Paul, for hanging out. You can check out our new studio upgrades here. We got a new backdrop, new camera, a bit of different lighting. So we're trying out some new things here as we stream to a new channel. So we start up a YouTube channel. Well, I started in 2013, but I hadn't done anything to it till about 3 weeks ago. So brand new, we're trying out another platform. And we're streaming to both YouTube and Facebook Live. Right on. So let's see what we got here. I'm going to do a quick intro for those that are new, and we'll get into our West Coast Trail, North Coast Trail, Wandafuka Trail, Strathcona Park, maybe the Rockies, wherever you want to go. This is the Q&A to ask questions. Hey, Julia, welcome back. Nice to see you here. We've got Paul and Julia chiming in. Right on. Yeah, so I'm Mike Blake, an Association Canadian Mountain Guide certified hiking guide living and working on Vancouver Island. You may know me through our MB Guiding website or blog, or maybe you heard about our guided trips and workshops before. I've been backpacking for around 45 years and guiding for over 20 of them. I specialize in outdoor education, instructing hiking and backpacking skills like trip planning, wilderness navigation, and risk management. I'm also a bear viewing guide with the Commercial Bear Viewing Association of British Columbia and instructor for the Interpretive Guides Association. So head on over to mbguiding.ca and click onto our About page and scroll down and you'll see a little bit about me there. My partner Lara and I started mbguiding.ca together in 2014. So been 12 years now we're going into. Lara's a big part of MB Guiding and she's the creative writer behind all of our online content. She also holds the record for participating in the most MB Guiding trips and workshops. And Lara's hanging out in the chat too, and you can say hi to her over there. Hey, Julia from Creston, right on. Great. Yeah, so let's talk about the giveaway. We always do a giveaway for all our live streams. It's about part of the fun. And we're going to give away 3 awesome prize packages today. So each prize package will contain your choice of one of 3 guidebooks. One of 3, so your choice of one of these. So we'll first start off with the 10th edition Blisters and Bliss, a trekker's guide to the West Coast Trail, co-authored and signed by Wayne Aiken, the West Coast Trail legend. Or Giant Sands White Cedar, or Giant Cedars White Sands. I haven't opened this one up for a bit. Wandafuka Marine Trail Guidebook with the color fold-out trail map by local author Donald C. Mills. And something brand new and exciting to add. I don't even think Lara knows about this yet. We have the brand new Coast Mountain High Routes Guidebook of Epic Alpine Traverses by ACMG guide John Baldwin. And this is a beauty. I just started cracking into this one and it is full of awesome stuff, especially if you are on the mainland. Thanks, John, for sending those out. Plus, each prize package will include a geartrade.ca sticker pack featuring the famous West Coast Trail slug. Plus, I'm going to add in 3 personalized coaching sessions, so one for each of the winners. All right, let's see how we're doing with sound, video. Thumbs up if I'm sounding good. Sounds, Lara didn't know about that book. Hey, Bryce, welcome from Calgary. Awesome. Good to see you again. All right, I'm just going to keep going here. So we're going to share more details on how to win the giveaway towards the end of the live stream. Hey, Lori, welcome. We've got Lori on YouTube joining us. Right on. Thanks for visiting our new channel. That's great. Okay, we've got Jeff is doing a sound check with me. He says I'm a little quiet. Okay, I got a solution for that. Thank you, Jeff. I am going to turn up my end. So now I'm up. I adjusted that by about 20% there. Let me know how that sounds. Julia loves the slug. Hey, Denise from Surrey, welcome. Right on, Lori's in Victoria. Awesome. Okay, yeah, so this is the first time, well, actually the second time we did a live stream with Brett Morrow from the West Coast Trail app. Did YouTube and Facebook then as well. So this is our second time doing it. So we're just checking out our sound and audio to make sure everything's good. Paul's asking, what is the name of your YouTube channel? Thanks for the question, Paul. So it's at Mike Blake. So in 2013, I got the URL at Mike Blake. Look it up on YouTube. You'll see it there. You'll be our 11th or 12th subscriber, whoever gets there first. We just started it up. So thanks for asking. Yeah, we'll be streaming on both Facebook platform and the YouTube platform going forward. And there was a story behind that. Facebook just within the last few months made it so that you couldn't keep your live stream recordings on Facebook in your page for more than 30 days, whereas YouTube doesn't have a limit on that. Hey, Diane from the Cowichan Valley, welcome. Yep, also go try out the YouTube if you want, at Mike Blake. And there's a story behind the name as well. I'm sure you'll hear about it on a trip. All right, great. I'm just going to keep moving along here. Yeah, thanks everybody for joining us. Yeah, it's great to see you here. We've got some folks that have been here many times and folks' names and profile pictures I haven't seen before, so that's great. Well, let's get inside the guide's mind. We are going to do this as a freestyle Q&A. So the idea is I'm going to start you off with some questions that I'll answer myself. So we had some pre-questions, and then we're going to leave it up to you to ask questions. That's what Inside the Guide's Mind's all about. It's an opportunity for you to ask questions versus me talking all the time. You ask questions, and then I can answer them, or hopefully I can answer them, and then we'll go look at some of the tools we use. I can share the websites we use for planning, so trip planning, route planning, weather forecasting, menu planning. Maybe you're interested in the guided trip that we're offering and you want to look at that in detail. This is what Inside the Guide's Mind's all about. We've got another request for some more volume. Okay, I can go up there. And if it gets too loud, I think I'm maxed on my end here without going into the red zone. So just keeping a watch on that. Yeah, it's always good to work out the tech before we get started with the main course here. Okay, so Inside the Guide's Mind. I've got some questions that came in before the live stream. So I was asked, what training and qualifications are required to be a certified ACMG hiking guide? So that's a great question. So I'm going to head on over to our website here. And if you scroll down to mbguiding.ca at the very bottom of the website, you will see the footer has the ACMG logo here. This will take you to the ACMG website. This tells you all about the Association of Canadian Mountain Guides. They just updated the website just in the last month, so brand new website. It's come out of the 90s and into the 2020s, so that's really nice to see. Going back over here though to our website at the bottom in the footer, on the right side you'll see ACMG Hiking Guide. That's my badge, my certification, whatever you want to call it. If you click on that, it's going to take you to the training and industry program. And it looks like they're updating this section of the site still, so it's redirecting to the old site, and I imagine this will get pulled into the new site eventually. But right now, if you head on over to that link, it'll show you the hiking guide stream. So it starts off, it's a hiking guide certificate program, prepares students for a career in the guided hiking sector of the adventure tourism industry. It's comprised of a 9-day field-based blended training course and practical apprentice exam. There's also an optional winter travel accreditation and then a 1 to 3 year apprenticeship period before you take your 6-day practical certificate exam. So you need to get some prerequisites. You need to do some hikes, and there's a minimum here. Most of the guides or candidates for the guiding stream are heading in with more than the minimum. So you want to do more than 3 years of hiking, more than 30-day hikes, more than 20 tent-based backpacking trips. You need a wilderness first responder or advanced workplace first aid certificate, and then you can take the apprentice hiking guide course and exam. 9 days, a mix of learning and examination. Then you do your apprenticeship, 1 to 3 years in the industry. So that's working with under the guidance and supervision of certified guides or institutional supervision. Then you can add on your winter travel certification if you choose, optional training, and then you're ready for the hiking guide certificate exam, which is a 6-day practical skills assessment. And that can be tough, rigorous. So you definitely want to do your homework for that. And eventually you get your certificate, which is what I have here. I did mine over a number of years. So I did it the slow mode. I started in 2008 with my assistant guide, and then I went from there and I got my full guide in 2016. So I took my time because I was working in the industry as I was doing my certification. Okay, Lori wants to talk about gear. We can talk about gear. Absolutely. Yeah, I'll pull up my gear list for sure. Let's do that. I'm just going to bring your comment up onto the screen, Lori, and then I'll get my gear list prepped on the share screen here. So I'm going to show you my lighter pack list from 2025. Just going to give me a sec here to log in. Lighter Pack's an awesome app. It's free. It works in your browser. I'll show you it right now. So this is Lighter Pack. This is where you add all your equipment to the list, and the end result, and we'll go over this in a sec. I'll open up this as well. This is what happens. You get a URL that you can share with other people, and it breaks down your gear into categories, whatever categories you design. So I did mine in clothing, electronics, hygiene, kitchen, other, so miscellaneous things, packing, shelter, sleeping, food, and there's a link to my menu plan there, fuel, water, and then group safety for when I'm guiding. So this is my guiding list from 2025. It says guiding there. So you build this in LighterPack. It's a free app. It's lighterpack.com. You just got to create an account there for free, and then you can start building gear lists. And when you're done, you get a URL, and it looks like this. So that's my list. What do you want to see in there? That's the list. I can share that in the chat too, Lori. So I'll pop that into the YouTube chat here and the Facebook chat, and it should pop up. We'll see if it actually does populate, because we might have a spam protector on there. We'll see. Just give it a sec there. Let me know if that comes through. It looks like it popped in, but you'll let me know. And if not, I will share it after the live stream. But that's the link to my gear list. So yeah, if you have any questions about my gear list specific items, feel free to fire those off as well. Rich, welcome Rich to the live stream. Question from Rich here. If you're speaking about gear, I'm looking at ultralight backpacks. What are your thoughts on the Durston packs? Any suggestions? Sure. I'd love to share my suggestions on Durston packs. So I have a couple of them, and the one that I'm using currently Let's see if it's already in this list because this might be my longer distance trip list. Yes, right now I got the Hyperlight in there, but let's just show you how easy it is to update this. I'm gonna bring in my Durston Kakwa. I'll share the screen there. So I've got the Wapta 30 and the Kakwa 55. So I'm just gonna pull this in there. So when you open up my gear list now, you should see, if I refresh it here, it should pull in the new pack. So I can switch. That's the nice thing about this lighter pack. You can just switch items in and out. It'll automatically update, or it should automatically update. There it is. Okay, yeah, so Rich, I'm using the Kakwa 55. All the links here in my gear list, they're just straight to the manufacturer's website and they're not affiliate links. So you may notice on our advertising side of things, it's just for our own trips, but we don't do any affiliate marketing or anything. So we don't earn anything if you click through this, just so you know. It's just straight to the manufacturer. And this is going to the Durston site. The Kakwa 55 just got updated. Um, I've been using the Ultra 200. Well, there's Dan's advertising. This pack's been amazing. I've got the large size. I use it for 1 to 5 day trips, typically overnight. For single day trips, I got the smaller Wapta. But this works good for guiding, even with all my guiding gear that's in this list. Up to say about 35-ish pounds. If I go into the 6 to 7 day trip, then I need to up to my Hyperlight Porter. So I've been talking putting a bug in Dan's ear to do a Kakwa 75 because that would just be perfect for my 7 day trips. But yeah, this pack's been amazing. That's the pack I use on 1 to 5 days, and it's been awesome. So thanks for the question. Let's bring that up again, that list. There we go. So yeah, lighter pack, when you build out the list here, you get this URL and you can just share that URL but with anybody. I'm just going to clean this up here so you don't see all my tabs. Get that out of the way there. There we go. Just make it a little cleaner. There's the list. There you go. All right. So the questions are coming through. Right on, David. Welcome on YouTube as well. This might be our highest YouTube viewership to date on stream number 2. So we got Lori and David, and I believe Lara's in there too. Yeah, great questions, folks. This is awesome. Keep them coming. That's what this is all about. This is inside the guide's mind. So the idea is to get Q&A going on. So questions about anything to do with hiking and backpacking. Just having my London fog. All right. Got to keep the caffeine going. Actually, it's getting a little late for that. 6 o'clock here. Oh, I got to keep the live stream alive. Okay, thanks, Julia. The link is in there. Perfect. Let's pop down to Julia's question here. What type of hiking shoes do you use on the WCT? Great question. Thank you for asking. Just going to head on over to the gear list here. If you scroll down to clothing, and you'll see my footwear, hiking footwear. These are my favorites. These are the Arc'teryx Vertex Alpine. They are an approach shoe, but they work amazing for me for hiking on the coastlines. What I like, well, that color is not my color. Let's let's switch to a different color. That's a little closer to the color that I have. It comes in black too, or gray. Or white. I just picked up a pair of these. So this is non-Gore-Tex version. What I really like about these is the toe rand goes all the way around the back of the shoe and wraps all around, and it's super burly. Um, it's got like a toe protector. They're built for scrambling on rock, but they seem for me work really nicely on coastal terrain. It's got an awesome tread, so really sticky. You just got to be careful on the hard surfaces that are like boardwalks, like any shoe. The hard surface with moisture on top. But for like dirt, mud, rock, even wet rock, anything that's got a bit of surface to it, like that you can get a bit of friction on, works really good. They excel in wet rock. They do okay on wet wood. They're great in the mud. They've got really good tread, really good lugs. And what I like about them is that they've got a built-in gaiter So I always wear a secondary short gaiter around the top. So now I've got double gaiter. And yep, these are the shorties. So they're short, they're low cut. So yeah, I'm not depending on these at all for ankle support. These are strictly for ease of movement, comfort. They're super comfortable for my feet. I believe the all Arc'teryx are in a D width. So super comfy on my feet. I put my orthotics inside and they work amazing. And the bottom underneath is solid. Like I mentioned, they're for on meant for rock. So you step on sharp objects and you're good. You don't really feel it underneath, but you still get enough tactile sense of the trail. Yeah, that's what I'm using. It does come in a Gore-Tex version. I just find, and I have them for the winter time, I find that the Gore-Tex version, once it gets wet, it stays wet. So I always use for coastal hiking, I'm using the non-Gore-Tex version, the one I'm showing you here. And then if it looks like it's gonna be a lot of rain, then I'll bring a waterproof sock that I can change in and out of depending on the conditions. That way, if the shoe gets wet, my foot inside the waterproof sock may stay dry for some period of time. Eventually, everything gets wet. But when it comes time to drying, I can separate the waterproof sock from the shoe, and both items dry much faster than a Gore-Tex shoe with the bladder or the membrane on the inside of it. So yeah, that's what I'm using. I love them. I've got multiple pairs, and I've been using them over and over and over for all the trips. Hey, you're welcome, Julia. That's a good one, Bryce. I'm gonna save that. So I'm gonna star that one. Thanks for that question. I'll get to that one. Just while we're on the gear here, Lori's got a question about gear. And Lori's asking about Garmin Product Satellite Message InReach Mini Messenger. Okay, so this is where I'm at right now with that. Let's just get rid of the shoes. Let's go back here to the gear list. All right, so if you scroll down into my electronics section on the gear list, you'll see Satellite Communicator. If you click on that, it'll take you to the Garmin website. And this is what I'm using right now is the Garmin InReach Messenger Plus. Oh wow, that's a big deal right now. That's pretty good savings. So yeah, everybody's got sales on right now. So this is the Garmin InReach Messenger Plus. It's basically the same thing as the Messenger, which I used for years before this. After the InReach Mini, so I use the Mini, I use the Mini 2, and then I switched to the Messenger, and then just this season I switched to the Messenger Plus. What this does is it allows voice and photo sharing through satellite, which has been awesome because I can do trip reports in the field and send a photo on satellite to Lara at home, and she can post my trip report because I do not have access to the internet if I'm on the Nooka Trail or North Coast Trail with a photo, which has been awesome. So I've tried the voice messaging. It works pretty good. It's like a 30-second message you can leave. So if you want to talk to somebody and leave them a voice, basically it's a voicemail you leave them, or it sends a link to a voice message, a recording that you make, which is kind of fun, but not super useful for what I do. The photo option is amazing though. And it looks like with this pricing, it's pretty much the same price as what the Messenger, the original one was. So that's what I'm using. I primarily use it for communication. So luckily, so far I haven't had to use it for emergency, but for communication in the field, use it every day. Check-ins, tracking. So it's got live tracking on it, so I can send my whereabouts to a map, and whoever has the map can see where I am. So this is great for my base camp manager, Lara, when I'm on trips, or if I'm solo hiking, it's great as well. Or if Lara and I are on a recreational trip together, we can send the map to her mom. And she can keep tabs on us. Or if I'm on a guided trip, I can share that map with the guided trip participants' family members so they can see where we're at. So that's been super helpful and handy. Yeah, so to answer your question, Lori, InReach Messenger Plus is what I'm using right now. Hey, Switch, welcome. Right on. Okay, how many people got here? All right, we got, looks like 10 people on Facebook. We got a few people on YouTube. Our total, we've got 12. All right, thanks everybody for joining us. I'm Mike Blake at MB Guiding, and this is our new live stream series, Inside the Guide's Mind, which is a freestyle Q&A session where you ask me questions and I do my best to answer them. And that's what it's all about. And we're going to do this, we're not sure of the schedule, but we're going to do it more often. So give us a thumbs up if you like what you're hearing. If you want us to do more, leave your comments in the chat or in the Facebook or YouTube. Okay. Hey, Rada, welcome. Good to see you. Great, we've got a whole bunch of folks. So, past trip participants, future trip participants, folks that I ran into in the wilderness on trips. This is awesome. Okay, let's go up to the question I put to the side here from Bryce. I like this one. Yeah, so ask me questions, drop them in the chat or in the comments, and I'll get to them as we go through the live stream. We still got another half hour, so lots of time. Bryce is asking the strangest, scariest, or most surprising thing I've encountered while leading a hike. That is a really good question. So, we're always getting surprises on all the trips. No matter how much planning and preparation that we do, there's always a surprise that we never thought about. I mean, the most uh, amazing things are the wildlife for me. So I go out there, I'm a wildlife viewing guide. I want to share that wildlife viewing with our trip participants. So I'm always surprised when we see something amazing, even though we're spending the whole trip looking for it. The strangest was probably on the North Coast Trail, one of our first trips out there. We were camped at Shuttleworth Bight, and I've seen a couple of amazing wildlife viewing things there. One time we had a wolf chasing a deer down the beach towards us, and then the deer went into the woods, the wolf went in the woods just before the camp, and then it popped out behind us down the creek, Irony Creek, and went out onto the rocks. So the deer jumped out onto the rocks and then jumped into the ocean and swam about 2 kilometers across to Stranby Point. And the wolf just sat there on the rock, missing dinner. So that was pretty wild. That was pretty cool and super surprising. Not often you see a chase down like that in the wilderness. The same location had another really cool and strange wildlife experience. We were sleeping on the beach, not up on the tent platforms at Irony Creek, so we are quite close to the ocean. And in the night, we heard, what sounded like snoring, and it wasn't the person in the tents behind us or beside us. It was whales had come in and were rubbing in the middle of the night up on the sand, and you could hear them breathing from inside our tents. So that was amazing surprise for sure. As far as strange and scary goes, more of those types of things. Sometimes you run into the odd person out there, for sure. We've had a couple of experiences where we've had some tag-alongs that wanted to come onto our trip, but they didn't actually join the trip in advance like everybody else. So Lara could reminisce about that story too, and that sort of went on for after the trip as well. So that was kind of odd to have a stalker on a guided trip and then afterwards. So that was probably strange. Not really scary because they seem pretty harmless, but odd for sure. um, yeah, surprises all the time. Weather surprises. Okay, the scariest. Rada being popped up on here will remember this one. Yeah, so we were on, again, the North Coast Trail. The first campsite is at Skinner Creek. Well, there is one at Shishardy Bay if you're going westbound, but typically you get off the boat and start hiking, so you stay at Skinner Creek the first night. And we had heard there was a lightning storm coming. We saw the lightning storm come, but we were definitely not prepared for what happened during the lightning storm. It was probably the scariest weather phenomena I've ever been in. There was lightning bolts hitting the beach in front of us in the middle of the night. I was in lightning position at the time. I didn't know better. Apparently, it's not very useful, but I was on top of my thermarest in a ball, and I had my camera, my GoPro at the time, and I was wanting to stick my hand out to take some film of the lightning bolts hitting the beach, like literally just outside the vestibule of the tent. You could feel the ground shaking, but I didn't want to stick my hand out because I was concerned that the lightning would get attracted to the GoPro and fry my hand off. So yeah, it was crouched in the tent for a couple hours. The storm blew over. The next morning, we come out of our tents to meet at our morning meeting, and everyone's got big wide eyes and lots of comments about like I thought I was gonna die. That was the craziest thing I've ever experienced. That was really scary. And then later in the trip, we went to visit the lighthouse keepers, Todd and Harvey, and they told us that evening it was documented over 2,000 lightning strikes in Goleta's Channel. I think about 2,500 or something. So that was pretty wild for sure. But yeah, there's a few for you, Bryce. Okay, we got some more questions coming in. Right on. That's what this is all about. Lightning strikes. Yeah, Rita. Oh yeah, Laura Creek. Yeah, so Lara's reminding me of another odd occurrence at Laura Creek again on the North Coast Trail. I'm not sure why the North Coast Trail is the one that's making all these oddities for us. But at Lower Creek, we put our food up into food cache bags versus into the locker. And so, 100 meters from our tent. The next morning, I went to get my bag, and there was some things missing out of it, my toiletry bag in particular. And I never could figure it out, never figured out what happened. If there was somebody squatting in the forest nearby that wanted to help themselves. Like nothing else was missing except for my toiletries. And it wasn't the whole toiletry case, it was some of the toiletries in the case. And that's always been a mystery to us. Um, what happened there, and we never did figure it out. So that was an odd one for sure. Lara remembers that one. Lori's asking if I've done the Sunshine Coast Trail. No, I've thought about it lots, Lori. Yeah, it just hasn't happened, but I'm curious about it for sure. I'd like the idea of mixing some tent camping and some bed and breakfast and a little bit more plush accommodations to break up the trail. And I hear it's over 200 kilometers, so it'd be more extensive hike than what we typically do with our 5 and 7 day trips. Yeah, it's on the list, Lori. Lori's saying she was out there with her scouts. Yeah, I'm gonna check it out. Keep me posted if you're heading out there again. I'd love to see some reports from it. So that'd be awesome. Jeff's got a comment. Webinar is super helpful in planning WCT. He had a very successful trip. Oh, right on. Thanks, Jeff. You're welcome. So we're gonna do more of those. Jeff, stay tuned. We're gonna do trip planning sessions for all the coastal trails. So West Coast Trail, North Coast Trail, Nooka Trail, and the Juan de Fuca Trail. Yes, the Juan de Fuca Trail. This guidebook here is for the Juan de Fuca Trail. So we were just down there a couple of weeks ago doing some recon at Mystic Beach, and we will be heading to the trail. We're hoping that doesn't get too damaged over this winter before it opens it fully. But definitely heading down to the Juan de Fuca Trail, Mystic, Sombrio, and Botanical for some day trips at least. And then, so I will do some trip planning for the Juan de Fuca Trail. Definitely for the Nooka Trail, the North Coast Trail, and the West Coast Trail. So stay tuned for those. And also, folks, if you're not aware, we also do trips in Strathcona Park. So let's just head on over to the MB Guiding website here. So if you scroll down into the stories and blog page here on our homepage, you'll see some other trips that aren't coastal. So Della Falls Trail, Bedwell Lakes Trail, Elk River Trail. These are all really fun trips in Strathcona. So I will do trip planning sessions for these areas too. You can see all the Strathcona trips if you click on the Strathcona tag here. The most recent one, which I've been having lots of fun on every season, I've been doing the Moat Lake Circuit, and that was awesome. My last trip out there. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start adding more Strathcona trip reports here. So if you scroll down in here, you'll see my most recent trip report. That was super fun. Had epic conditions. I did 3 days up there, so that was really fun. Yeah, Strathcona. The other big one that we do in Strathcona, which I want to do a trip planning session on, is the Auger Point. Let's just get back here and scroll down to, it's probably on the next page. We haven't updated that one for a long time. Yeah, so I want to get back and update this. The last time we updated this was 2017, even though I've done the trip since. Just not every trip report gets put up on our website until this year we started doing every trip. So going into 2026, you're going to see a lot more trip reports because I'm now doing them from the field. As I mentioned, I've got the technology to send trip reports from the field even when I don't have access to the internet. But yeah, I'm gonna add some more reports here. This is a really fun trip that we guide as well, and you should see some more content on Strathcona upcoming as well, Jeff. So hopefully all that will keep you interested and tuning in for more. Right on. Thanks, Bryce. That's awesome. Thanks, folks. It's always nice to hear the feedback. Nick's asking about the Golden Hind. So I'd love to do the Golden Hind as a through hike, either starting at the Elk River Trailhead or at the Arnica Lake Trailhead by the Westman Mine. I've not done past Elk Pass or past Phillips Ridge, and I'd love to connect that. I'm not a climber, and I don't guide climbing. So the summit of the Golden Hinds class, 3+4, So I wouldn't guide that. It's out of my train guidelines, but I'd love to get in the area for sure. And that's on my list. So thanks for reminding me, Nick. The Golden Hind would be awesome as a through hike. Great question here from Lori, and these are perfect questions, folks. Keep them coming. This is what we're looking for. This is you're getting inside the guide's mind here. Lori's asking, what's the best time to hike Strathcona to avoid snow? July, August. Exactly, late July, August. Let's just go back over here to that Auger Point trip. This here is late July. That's prime time. You know, your tent pads are clear. This is Albert Edward. It's accessible up to the summit without snow typically. Ruth Astor Lake is not frozen. You can see the skyline here. Snow's melted out. Yeah, getting out there July, mid-July, late July on a typical year is your best bet for encountering less snow. June, these sections that I'm showing you here, like especially the Albert Edwards section, would be covered into late June, early July, almost every season, unless we have a really low snow year. Yes, the one thing and what I've learned to time is the bugs in Strathcona are really nasty typically in June and July. But in August, as the nights start to get cooler and the first hatches have dissipated, we're talking black flies, mosquitoes, horse flies, deer flies, all the nasties, no-see-ums. Um, later in the season, so ideally August, no snow, less bugs. Early September can be amazing. When I did this trip in the Moat Lake Circuit, which was super fun, there it is. Yeah, so you'll find these connected on our homepage too. Just go straight to mbguiding.ca. This is the Moat Lake Circuit. This was early September, and it was awesome. It was or mid-September actually, September 14th to 15th. No bugs at all, and hardly any people. There was like a dozen to 20 people. I got my tent pad of choice at Circuit Lake. There was no fighting for the best tent pads there, and you're getting really nice color too, and as the sun gets lower in the horizon in the September. Temperature is a bit chillier though, which I enjoy for hiking, but we've got temperatures down to the low single digits. Yeah, I recommend Strathcona July, August, early September, and if you want less snow and less bugs, lean to the latter half of that. So mid-August, mid-September, my prime time up there. Temperatures, are almost getting into the double digits at night that one day, but it did warm up during the day, but still not too hot. Like in the summer, it can be sweltering up there. Hiking in the Alpine with 20, 30 degrees isn't very fun either. Thanks for the question. Oh, just going back on what Bryce said. Yeah, so GPS tracks. So if you go to our website, folks, and you look at any of our newish, so within the last couple of seasons, trip reports, you'll see we've added tracks in here from my Sunto watch here. So it'll take you, if you click on here, two places. In the route planning phase, I'm using CalTopo to plan my routes. So in the route planning phase, you'll see an outline of my route plan for that particular trip. So the trailheads, the campsites, the objectives. So on this particular trip, I was starting at Paradise Meadows Trailhead. I was staying at Circuit Lake 2 nights. I was going to do Albert Edward for sure and Frink for sure, and then Castle Crag if I had time, and I didn't. I ran out of light. One of the things to think about in September, less hours of light. But I have my objectives here, and you can export these to any device. So no matter what you're using, All Trails, Gaia GPS, you can export these tracks and markers. Just make sure you do your own research as well. I'm using, the mainline routes here, so nothing secret. You can find this online, but do some comparing with some other folks and definitely get some up-to-date info as far as, if I've done it a year ago, you probably want to talk to somebody else that's done it sooner as well. But this breaks it down day by day, so you can see your distances, elevation profiles, so your ups and downs all on the route for each day, and then the objectives, the peaks that I hit on that one, and the campsites there. So that's all accessible. But to get the actual route that I did, you're gonna have to scroll down, and there's a bit of a surprise here. It's not obvious. We did that on purpose for fun. But you'll see a image here for Sunto, and it'll show my stats for that particular track for that day. And so the kilometers, remember these kilometers are not 100% accurate. Usually they're exaggerated by anywhere from 1 to 20%, and that's just the nature of GPS devices, especially if there's lots of um, train like canyons that you're in, forests. That's why people on the West Coast Trail get 130-kilometer trips when it's actually only 75. But the durations are bang on, so it's a stopwatch I'm using. But if you click on there and you'll see it takes you to my Sunto map. It takes a couple of seconds to load, but eventually it'll load. And this will show you my actual track for that day on a 3D map, which is pretty fun to watch. And you can get some more info in here, the actual ascent and the actual descent. And then it's giving you some more finite timelines. So my ascent time, descent time, average speed. Disregard when you see anomalies. Like I did not go 50 kilometers an hour anywhere on there. That's something happened there with the device. It jumped. But yeah, a lot more info in there. And the fun part is that you can zoom in and out of this and look at the different terrain features and see where you're at, where I'm at, and see what else you could figure out on your trip. You can change the maps. These Sunto maps are quite nice. They're using different types of technology here. I think it's Mapbox, this one that they're using, that a lot of the new mapping apps are using. Yeah, you can see Mount Washington Ski Area there. It's got the contour lines in there. Zooming in, it's got the names of the lakes and all that type of thing. I really like the satellite view. You can also do a winter view if you're ski touring. There's a winter view as well, so that's kind of neat. And there's the ski runs on Washington and the cross country ski trails. So yeah, lots of neat info in there. And that's hidden in our trip reports. It's a new thing we added in the last couple of seasons. But you have to click on um, these like little maps here, so they're clickable. We just don't make it obvious. And that's a Easter egg I just shared with you. Okay. We got some tech stuff. Camera A looks a bit jerky. Oh, okay. Yeah, that could be an issue with the streaming. Yeah, I'll try not to move too much. Camera B is smooth. Yeah, good point. I'm not sure if I can adjust that right now, so I won't jump back and forth and do dancing here on my end here. Okay. I see another question here from Lori. Great question. Do I have any BC national or international through hikes on my bucket list and why? I would love to do the Great Divide Trail, Lori. That would be awesome. That's been on my dream list. So that's the trail that goes from Waterton, so the Canada-US border, all the way up past Jasper. That's on my list as a number one to do. That would be amazing. So that's definitely on my list. For international, I would love to get back. So I was born in Australia, and I moved there from there when I was very little, a baby. But I'd love to go back. I've never been back. And Tasmania interests me. I'd love to get into New Zealand zones, do some of those hikes. Definitely on my list at some point in my life. It just, I got to time it. All these trips with work with my guided trips, so might have to wait until retirement. Thanks for the question. We got more tech. Thanks for all the tech stuff, folks. That really helps us. Switch is asking me to turn up some more. I'm waiting for somebody to say turn it down, but that hasn't happened yet. So I've been turning up my volume. It's also could be my mic too when I'm moving about. I'm on a stand-up desk. So thanks for all that, folks. It's helping out trying to get these dialed, these tech things. That's what Inside the Guide's Mind's also running the show on the back end here. Okay, so I'm going to pull, while I'm waiting for more questions from you, because we still got about 15 minutes to go here. I'm going to pull up some of my questions that came in earlier. So this question gets asked often. What do I do in the off season when I'm not actively guiding backpacking trips, and what keeps the business running? So this is a big part of it. So talking to you, today is Wednesday. Today I do all my video conferencing with all the clients and prospects. So this is my fourth video today. Earlier today, I spoke with a prospect that's coming from Europe that's going to be doing a coastal trip and a custom mountain trip. So I did video conferencing with them. Afterwards, I had a meeting with another organization I work with, the Interpretive Guides Association. And if you go to our website and scroll down to the bottom here, you'll see, well, let's get to the homepage. Go to mbguiding.ca, scroll down to the bottom. You'll see the Interpretive Guides Association. I work with them as an instructor. So I teach risk management and wilderness navigation for them. So keep your eyes open on their courses. They're going to be coming soon. So yeah, I'm either talking with somebody, whether it's you or my clients or my prospects or other colleagues that I work with, or I'm designing something. So I might be designing a course, a workshop, a trip. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes to keep this all running. Tomorrow I'm going to be working on tech to see what the video and audio issues are, streaming to the two platforms at once. So there's always something happening at MB Guiding headquarters. And then I also like to go out and do my exercise and have fun too. As a guide in the summer, I'm moving about quite a bit. But in the winter, I try to do as much as I can. I bike and ski as well. So I like to go on trips doing those two activities. And then hiking, because we're in Victoria on southern Vancouver Island, we hike year round. So typically it doesn't snow often down here. So we're doing some hiking. Julia, I was born in North Sydney back in the day. So yeah, that's my off season. There's never an off season at MB Guiding. It's always on. I don't have a vacation. Lara has a vacation. She works at a company where they have to have specific vacation days. So we just finished up her vacation, but I was still doing my work because it's a 24/7 type thing. I try to set hours like the video conferencing. I try to do only on Wednesdays. Um, but all the other stuff that goes on behind the scenes, if you see on my desk right now, there's lots of to dos, lots of things, lots of things to do for sure. Lots of lists. There's always lists. So folks were asking about guided trips. So I'm just gonna pop on over here to what we call Base Camp. Base Camp is the project management software that we use for planning our trips. And I'm just gonna give you a quick overview here of some of the trips that I'm working on right now. So each of these cards is a specific trip. So these are my June to September trips. So we've got Nooka Trail June 4th to 5th. We've got West Coast Trail 1, tentatively the 14th to 20th of June. We'll be getting our confirmed dates any moment now, any day this week or next week. Then we've got North Coast Trail and Cape Scott Trail June 28th to July 2nd. And then we got West Coast Trail July 12th to 18th. And then North Coast Trail July 27th to 31st. West Coast Trail August 9th to 15th. And Nooka Trail August 24th to 28th. And then Auger Point Traverse September 7th to 11th. So there's June, July, August, and half of September just in those 4 trips because I take a week in between each trip to commute, recalibrate, resupply, and get to the next trip. And this year, I've already got plans. As I mentioned, had a prospect call this morning, and they want to do a trip in between this trip and that trip. It just happens that it works out. I'm coming back from Nooka, heading to Victoria to do the West Coast Trail the following week. So I'm going to be able to squeeze in a Strathcona custom trip in there for a few nights in between. So yeah, there's always something to squeeze in or add on to. And then in April and May, we're doing courses, wilderness navigation workshops locally, typically around the Souk area. So I do wilderness navigation in southern Vancouver Island and Souk. And then once Strathcona opens up, typically mid-June, then I'll start doing courses up in Strathcona Provincial Park as well. And those will go into late September. And then it's October, November, December, where we're at now, which is back into the trip planning, prepping for the next season. And for the first time ever, folks, we're planning and prepping for trips into 2027. So we've already got West Coast Trail groups coming together for 2027. How does my body hold up for all those consecutive through hikes? That is a good question. So far so good, Lori. I try to take rest in between. I tried to go back to back trips. It's too much. Maybe when I was younger I could do that, but now it's I try to take 5 to 7 days in between each trip. 1 to 2 of those days might be commuting, so I'm sitting in a car resting, and then the other 5 days are here in the headquarters, working in the office, prepping gear rooms on the other side of this wall here, getting gear ready for the next trip, collaborating with the team, getting prepped. So there is some rest in between. But yeah, unless somebody asks for a specific custom trip like just happened today, then I have less rest because I want to make sure they have a good experience as well. So I just make sure there's a couple of days at least in between the trips. But thanks for that question. All right, we've got about 10 more minutes to go, folks. So I'm just gonna see what other questions that came in earlier. Oh, questions. So going on with the business side of things, I was asked, what's the difference between doing this as a sole proprietor versus working to other guiding companies? So I started that way. When I first started guiding, I was guiding for other companies to get my experience up, and then I started my own company, and I've been doing it myself, the guiding and the planning ever since. But I still do work with other organizations on contract. The difference is when you're doing it yourself, you do it all yourself, and when you're doing it with others, you got to collaborate and make it work. So today we were picking dates for something I'm doing for another organization. So we both had to look at our calendars and make sure they lined up to make it happen. So yeah, there's always some networking or collaborating going on, even as a sole proprietor. Okay, so these I know who's sending these questions in. Uh, what extra goodies do your clients get if they choose to work with you? So that Basecamp is a huge thing. So I've been using this Basecamp project management software for almost 20 years now to help plan our trips and workshops. And it's been a massive asset, not just to help me plan and prepare and keep things organized with all the different trips and groups of people in each one, but also it's a platform for the people on the trips to collaborate with each other and with me. So we can set schedules, we can do gear lists, we can do all sorts of stuff. So that's all included. I mean, that's one of the big parts of planning a trip with MB Guiding is that you're planning with the guide that's going to be on the trip with you. And that's different than if you sign up to another company where it's a big company and they have 20 plus guides working for them. You may not meet the guide to the trailhead, whereas I specialize in small groups, so I can do them all myself. I don't have any other guides I work with other than when I do these projects with these other organizations on occasion, instructing. But as far as the guided trips, you always know you're going with me, and you're going to collaborate with me from the day you sign up to the day you're on the first trip, the first day of the first trip there. All right, let's see what we got here. We still got 10 of you. Thank you, folks, for hanging out. We're going to do the prize draw here coming up. If you have any other questions or if you're watching the replay, just pop them into the chat or comments and I'll get to them later. I'll follow up after dinner or in the morning. Yay, one of our teammates likes Basecamp. Yeah, it's pretty fun for what we're using it for. Not so fun if maybe you're using it for a corporation or business. Um, but it works great for planning trips for sure. All right. Yeah, so if you're watching the replay, add some more questions into the comments and I'll get back to them later. I'm going to get into the giveaway details now. So if you're watching the replay, you can also take advantage of that as well. So we'll get into those details in a moment. Just going to see if there's anything else popping up here. Oh, I see a comment that Olera's saying no bugs. Yeah. In Strathcona in the midsummer definitely is buggy. Ah, David, great question. David's asking my favorite direction on the Auger Point Traverse. So it's great both ways, but I personally prefer starting on the Paradise Meadow side. I've done it both directions. The Paradise Meadow side, you start. It's the least amount of driving for me to get to the trailhead to start. The shuttle will be at the back end of the trip, so we all drive to the trailhead at Paradise Meadows. It's a great starting point. We hike into the wilderness and leave civilization behind us. And I prefer the elevation advantage. Now, some people may prefer going up versus down, but there's a 900-meter elevation uh, advantage if you prefer going down versus up. If you prefer going up versus down, then you want to start on the Buttle Lake side because it's a 900-meter gain to get up into the subalpine. So yeah, they're both good, David. I'm pretty sure we did it westbound when we did our trip. All right, we got another question here. So I've got just 30 more seconds here. Julia, not typically. Bugs on the West Coast Trail are far few between. Typically don't see bugs out there. The wind keeps them low. You might get a couple here and there, but nothing like the mountains in the summer of Vancouver Island. All right, folks, I'm going to start winding this down. Just going to pull up my notes here. yeah, so we're going to do the giveaway here. If there's more questions, just pop them into the comments there. I want to start wrapping up the live stream so we can get to give away those 3 awesome prize packages. So I just shared a ton of info with you. Hopefully some of it is valuable and will help you plan a safe, fun, and successful trip in 2026 and beyond. It's time for the giveaway. So these are the prizes. You're going to get a choice of either Blisters and Bliss, Giant Cedars White Sands, or the new John Baldwin Coast Mountain High Roots. So you get a choice of one of each of those, and then each package will get the Gear Trade sticker pack featuring the West Coast Trail Slug, a couple of Gear Trade stickers in there, geartrade.ca, and then each package will also contain a personalized coaching session with MB Guiding. So now, how do you win the giveaway? So first, you had to have participated in the chat or comments, added a comment to enter. Second, you're going to go to our MB Guiding website. So mbguiding.ca, and you're either going to scroll to the bottom to the contact, or you can click on the menu and click on contact. So it's mbguiding.ca/contact. You'll see a contact form right at the top there. So you're going to fill out the contact form, put your first name, your last name, your email. The subject line is live stream giveaway. So I can find it in all my emails, live stream giveaway. And then in the message, folks that have been doing this have been asking questions, which have been awesome because I can answer them when I return to tell you if you won or not, or you can just say hi in there. You have to agree to receive communications from us. And just know that after you send and you win or you don't win, that you can disagree to receive communications from us. So you can unsubscribe at any time. So fill out your first name, last name, email, the subject line, live stream giveaway, and then a message, put a question in there, just say hello and press send. Then what's going to happen is I am going to, at say 7 p.m., so just over 24 hours, 7 p.m. Pacific time tomorrow, I'm going to use a random picker, and I'm going to pick from the folks that I saw left a comment or entered into the chat, either on YouTube or Facebook, and filled out a contact form. Once I correlate those two things, you'll get first, second, and third, and 3 people will get a prize. And then you'll get a choice of one of these. Everyone gets these. And everyone gets an MB Guiding personalized coaching session. Those are just like the ones our clients get. So if you've already won this and you're getting multiple prizes, that works. So we appreciate that you're even joining us, supporting us. You can win again, or you can give it away to a friend. All right, so what time we got here? Yeah, perfect timing, folks. Okay, so we're gonna work on our tech. So audio, video for the next one, see what's going on there. We're gonna get some more advanced questions, it looks like, I think is on our to-do list. So folks that can't make the live stream, there's gonna be a way for you to be able to ask questions in advance and then I can answer them during the live stream. So a couple of to-dos here. So before I let you go, just gonna make sure I can show you where all this info is again. So yeah, go to our website, mbguiding.ca, scroll down, you'll see all of our trail guides and trip reports in there. If you're curious what our trips are like, well, these are the folks that joined our trips or maybe joined a live stream. Bryce is in there too. But folks that have joined a trip or a workshop, they're our best spokespeople. So read some of those testimonials in there. I think we've got 64 in there now. We just added this new testimonial collection plugin. So you can see all sorts of testimonials in there. And then if you're curious about the different organizations that I work with, those are all listed at the bottom too. If you go to our About page, you can see a bit more about me and my certifications, a bit about Lara, some bits on the family partners, which is a huge part of what we do. It wouldn't happen without all these folks too. So different transportation providers we use, different associations we work with, clubs, and different brands as well. So that's all there at mbguiding.ca. All right, folks. So we're planning out our fall and winter live stream schedule and would love your feedback. What would you like to see next? More Q&A sessions, trip planning sessions, any other ideas? Share them in the chat and comments. We'll post upcoming events on our social channels too. So you just got to click on the events to get notifications when we go live again. If you enjoyed this live stream, give it a thumbs up and leave a comment if you're keen for more. You can also share the replay, share websites, and brand new, subscribe. to our YouTube channel. So get in there, like, subscribe, do all that, what everybody says on all their YouTube videos. You know the procedures there. And then you can share this all out to your friends and family as well. So that's all for now, folks. Thanks so much for joining us. Have a great week, and we'll see you on the trails. Bye bye.